G'day guys, how's it going? So, this afternoon I've got something cool to show you. This is a Renogy 40 amp DC to DC charger. We're in the Caravan that you might remember we installed a diesel heater in. It's the base camp Supreme branded base camp Caravan trailer. And get the foam off this DC. This is a Renogy 40 amp DC. So output side on this side, a couple of dip switches and a sensor wire cable there. Nice air flow looking through that body of this here. Now this thing gets towed by a Power Stroke powered F250. It's the input side, nice big fans. Nothing much else on the case. Let's have a look at some of the specs on this beast. It's a 40 amp DC. So we've already got an Anderson at the front that's connected up towards the battery, so we're just going to poke that in between. Okay. Give us some technical specifications. What can we put in? What can we get out? So you can set the float voltages, charging mode. Wow, you can make it charge a lithium battery. That's cool. So the Renogy can do a lithium battery. Obviously you'd need a BMS. Okay, so 12 volt to 12 volt transformation on all models. Nominal input voltage is 12 volts, but anything between 8 and 16 it can absorb and it'll push out. 13.2 to 14.7, which is 500 watts in our case because we've got a 1240. So it's the equivalent of 500 watts of solar panels. That's quite serious. 40 amps is a good high-powered charge. Now, this van's got a 120 amp DC, a DC 120 up in the front of the bulkhead there, and another 100 amp. I can't remember what brand it is. But the good battery is a full river beast, and yeah, this will certainly charge this up very quickly. It's quite a beefy sized unit too. It's all alloy. Now I've opted to go with this. I'm not 100% sure if I need to use it. I've got to get the F-truck down here and see how the dual battery setup in that's wide, because I believe there's a DC in the back of that already. It's a red arc, I believe, similar to one I've got. What I need to know is whether that DC and its battery in the back, if I just parallel off that battery in the back down here to this van's battery, because I put a 50 amp Anderson with good like 6 or 8 mil cables from the battery in the F-truck down to the tow bar, so he's got a good 12 volt supply up to 50 amps down there. So what I'm thinking is, if I connect that straight to this van through the wiring that's existing, that DC get the current clamp onto it, it should charge this battery. So we might not need this, so I might use this for something instead at home. But hopefully we can put this in and get this going, because I really want to see it work. Worst case scenario, we'll run a second 50 amp Anderson from the start batteries of the F-truck. But I don't want to risky start batteries on the F-truck because it runs a pair. I don't want them to ever have a reason to be flat. But yeah, this is one of the cool things we're putting in today. I'll put a link to this beast in the video description, and we'll make some videos of testing it while it's going. But I thought just show you a couple of the cool things that we're putting in this van today. We've got a cool 100 amp waterproof, so line in, auxiliary out, circuit breaker, as you can see. Nice spring loaded mechanism, a couple of bolt down terminals with protectors on them. I'll link you one of those as well. And that 100 amp breaker is for this Phoenix 12 volt 800 VA, beautiful little Victron. So what we'll do is we'll bring my VE Direct out and plug it into this so we can test it and have a play around with it. I'll get some cables. But that 100 amp breaker will go to the battery. This will hang off that. I don't like fuses, because fuses, if you overload something or it's a bit close or whatever, you know, a fuse, you might not be able to get hold of one of them while you're on the road or whatever, and that might be detrimental to using something. Customer only wants to use this to run a couple of laptops. He doesn't want to go with DC charging. A couple of laptops, a hair straightener, and what else was there? He's got a couple of cordless Milwaukee or Makita. One of them, I think it might be Makita tools. And those chargers actually pull about 200 watts. 240, I believe. So you need a little bit of power for that if he wants to charge a few bits and pieces up on the go. But it will mean that he can, while he's on the road or whatever, this thing can be turned on. The DC to DC can be charging the batteries, or this new solar that we've got can be charging the batteries. And he can charge his cordless tools while he's making power, rather than charging them when it's dark and off his stored power. So ideally, hopefully I can show him that to only use his stored power when he actually needs it of a night time, and not be going backwards. So we're adding to this van, so it's got 220 amp hours of batteries at the moment. So we're adding to this van two 200 watt solar panels to the already 80 or 100 watt or whatever it's already got on the roof, a DC-DC charger, this Victron beast. So between the DC-DC, it already has a 25 amp AC charger built into the BMS of the vehicle, of the Caravan, and that charger allows you to, when you plug into shore power or a genset, it automatically just starts charging the house batteries. 25 amps is a pretty quick charge rate, but still I suppose it's still 10 hours from flat on the current battery bank. So if he goes for a bit of a drive with this 40 amp going, it'll certainly punch some power in there. But yeah, once I've got it all built, we'll make some test videos and definitely be able to work out what we're dealing with. Putting in some USB accessory sockets. We've got a few of these to put in places where the van doesn't already have them. Some of the places the van has them are a bit silly. I've got to run a bit of power to that. I've got to put in another water tank. I'll make videos about all of that. And yeah, so diesel heater's still in there and does its job. It certainly helped them out when they went camping last time. So I'll put some links to some of these bits that I'm using. Some USBs, these are good Narva ones, they're quite high quality. You should never have to look at one of these ever again. It's a twin USB. I'll link some quick charge ones though, because a lot of you guys will probably have good phones that run the quick charge kind of system. So you'll be able to find a quick charge, because this one's 2.5 amps at 5 volts. So yeah, we've got them out this, hopefully tonight, and start getting some things wired up. It's going to be colder tonight, but I'm laughing. I've got a diesel heater. Alright guys, thanks heaps for watching. Catch you in the next video, and hopefully you'll see some of these cool things getting put in and tested. Catch us.